Hello everybody, I would like to welcome you to week 4 of this course, which means we already finished half of the course. So as you can see, things are moving fast and we are progressing well. If you remember in week 3, I said that we are going to look at the different factors that affect the growth and development of microorganisms and use that information so that we can control uh, harmful microorganisms and encourage useful microorganisms to grow. Last week we covered the effect of pH on the growth and development of microorganisms and how we can use that as a control measure. As you know, there are different factors that affect the growth and development of microorganisms. That includes presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen, moisture or lack of moisture. So since the microorganisms are living things, these are the factors that affect them. So in week 3, we covered the effect of pH and how we can use it to control or to manage microorganisms in foods. This week we are going to look at the effect of moisture or water activity in relation to microorganisms. Before that, I just want to reflect on a few things from your work in week 3. As usual, of course, we have the 3 components: the discussion, the lab and the lab report, and the quiz. With regard to the lab report, I think some of you had some problems with the growth of microorganisms. They were not able to detect any growth after some time. That is a challenge, of course, and you need to have the favorable conditions for the growth of microorganisms. And if the conditions are not favorable, it means that the microorganisms are not going to grow. Another thing that I noticed about your performance in week 3 is that you follow the same trend, meaning that the first questions, the pre-lab questions, most of you or even all of you answered them well and you got full points for that. But for the discussion questions, I think some of you were struggling and you were not able to answer them correctly. And as usual, I sent you the model answers so that you compare your answers with what is supposed to be the right answer. Now focusing on the discussion, I found it again very interesting and I enjoyed reading it. And a few things that I want you to take note of with regard to discussion. In the initial post that you address the discussion question, of course you need to put some information, some aspects about the topic itself with references. And when you respond to your colleagues, you can raise questions, you can share your experiences, you can give some references as some of you do, and that is very encouraged and that is very commended from some of you. And also you can challenge other students with any points, you can ask questions and so on. So let us make the discussion very lively and enjoyable and challenging at the same time. And we can do this by reading a lot about the topic, sharing our experiences, giving references, raising questions, and so on, so that the discussion is more enjoyable and interactive. Again, some other points that I want you to take note of generally with regard to the course, not specifically for week 4 only. And the first one is I want to encourage you to always look at the announcements. Read the announcements, because sometimes there are important issues that you need to have an idea about, and sometimes there are urgent issues that you need to attend to. So I would like to encourage you to always look at the announcements, read them, and if there is any response required from you, you do that. Again, you need to communicate with your colleagues and with me also, and with the director of the program. If you have any issues, then we can look at them together. Um, uh, Again, look at your email also. Sometimes I send emails and I need response from you. So the issue is to put more emphasis on the communication aspect with regard to the announcements, the emails, and so on. And even the comments that I made in the discussion, or in the lab reports. So you always need to have a look at that and respond if there is need for that. I think that's all I want to share with you this week. And one thing I noticed, which is very good, which is also encouraged, is that some of you have already started the work in week 4, even week 5, and even week 6. That is good, and this is one of the good things about online courses, that it depends on the speed or pace of the student himself or herself. So it is very flexible, and you can always do it at your own pace, or at your own speed. But the main thing that we always want to encourage you is to start early and avoid late submissions. Late submissions always are not good, and you never know what will happen if you leave your work till the last moment. So you are always encouraged to start early, and look at the deadlines, and try to follow them. I think that's all I want to say this time, and I hope to see you online through the discussions, through your lab reports, and through your communications. Have a good time, and see you online as usual.